This is question number 4 of the IGCSE Human Biology June 2019 Sample Assessment Paper 1. The question states that the diagram shows a new approach to treat severe burns. Here they have provided us a diagram. It is showing that a hand has a severe burn wound and harvest stem cells are sprayed directly on the burn site and the cell application heals the burn. So since this question speaks about stem cells and stem cell therapies or stem cell treatments, let's have a quick review of how stem cells work. Here I have a piece of information obtained from your textbook. Here it explains how stem cells are going to work. Stem cells are basically a cell that is able to Stem cell is a cell that is able to divide many times by mitosis without undergoing differentiation. Later, it can differentiate into any specialized cells. Okay, so in humans, there are two types of cells, stem cells. One is embryonic stem cell, another one is adult stem cell. So embryonic stem cell is found in the early age of development, and it can differentiate into any type of body cell. Okay, and adult stem cells are found in adult tissues. They have lost the ability to differentiate into any type of cell but can form a number of specialized tissues. Okay, so since now we know of the two types of stem cells, we should take another point into view, that is the stem cell therapy. So as we know that stem cells are undifferentiated cells, which means they can be turned into any specialized cells. So this means that they can be used to replace cells of the body that are lost in any part. Stem cell therapy focuses on this concept of the stem cells. What they do is, by any specific type of application process or technique, the stem cells are delivered to the part of the body where they are needed for the replacement of cells, probably some lost cells to replace the lost cells or grow new one. Hence, stem cell therapy is used to prevent a disease or to repair damaged tissues using the stem cells. All right. So since we have discussed how the stem cells work and how they're used for treatment, let's move back to the question. So here in this question, it says that the stem cells are used in this treatment. In part A, the stem cells used in this treatment are extracted from the patient's skin. Name the type of stem cells that are used to treat the burn. It is a one marker question over here. And since it is stating that the stem cells are extracted from the patient's skin, it means that they cannot be embryonic stem cells. So the embryonic stem cells are taken from the embryo. And since these stem cells that are used in this experiment are basically taken from the patient's skin, it means that they must be adult stem cells. I have answered this question over here, that the name of the stem cells that are used to treat the burn is the adult stem cells. All right, so let's move on to part B. Part B states that give one reason why it is important that the stem cells are taken from the patient's own skin and not the skin of a donor. This is because the stem cells or the tissues of the adult stem cells. Okay, so there is stem cells that are going to be used for therapy or for the treatment. Since if they come from the same type of body, it means that wherever they're applied on the organ or on the skin, there is no chance of rejection since the tissue type is the same. If it comes from another person's body, which is a donor's body, it is possible that the treatment may not work because there is a rejection of the cell. All right, so let's answer this question. So here I have answered the question that there is no chance of rejection since same type of tissue is used. All right, just add up here. Done. Okay, so let's move on to the next part. It says that part C states the diagram shows a stem cell taken from the skin of a patient. So the stem cell taken from the skin of a patient, since it is a human cell, which is an animal cell. So this is a normal structure of the animal cell. Here, this must be then the nucleus, which is W. X is going to be the cell membrane, and Y is going to be the cytoplasm. Here, part C states that name W, X, and Y. Since we have interpreted the diagram beforehand, so let's answer this question. I have answered over here That W is going to be the nucleus, and cell membrane is X, and Y is going to be the cytoplasm according to the diagram. All right. So let's move on to part D. Part D states that the stem cells used to treat the burn eventually form new skin tissues that heals the wound. All right. Describe how these stem cells form new skin tissues. Okay. So this is a 3-marker question. So they are asking over here from how the stem cells are going to form the new skin tissue. What the stem cells are going to do is that once they are directed to be differentiated into the skin cell tissues, they are going to differentiate numerous times by mitosis and hence form the tissue. Okay, so let's answer this question. Okay, so I have written the answer that stem cells are differentiated into the desired cells and become specialized since they divide by mitosis to increase in number and form new skin. So since it is a 3-marker, the mark distribution here is that the stem cells are differentiated. Sorry, all right. Okay, so the stem cells are differentiated into the desired cells or become specialized. So this is 1 marker, and they divide by mitosis, by the process, all right, which is mitosis. So to increase the number and form the new skin cell. All right, new skin tissue. Okay, so here I have answered this question up to the 3 marks. Part E here states that describe the advantages of using this method of treating severe burns instead of growing the patient's skin cells in a petri dish in a laboratory. It is a 3-marker question. So they're asking for the advantages of using this method over the method of growing the patient's skin cells in a petri dish or in a laboratory. So let's answer this question. Here I have listed 3 points since it is a 3-marker question that the burn would heal more quickly and it will take less time to treat and less risk of contamination. Okay, so moving on to the diagram. Here I will explain the advantages. The advantages come since it will take less time for the healing process to complete and also for the treatment. Why? Because spraying the stem cells directly onto the burn site will help the skin cells, which is the stem cells, sorry, will help the stem cells to quickly differentiate into the required specific type of cell, such as the skin cell, to form the type of skin tissue, and hence the treatment process is faster. Also, the healing is quicker since they are directly applied onto the burn site. If they have to be prepared in a laboratory, then transferred to the burn site, after these cells have been grown perfectly, then it will take a longer time. Also, as I said, that it prevents contamination or maybe probably leads to less contamination. Why? Because when we are carrying the experiment in a laboratory, there may be chance of causing contamination of the petri dish by microorganisms, different microorganisms probably in the air. And also there is a necessity of using sterile equipments. If not, if any type of contamination occurs and these cells are applied to the burn site, it can worsen the wound much further. All right, so let's move on to the next part.